YouTube. Today we have a TTR product. This is the passenger side top motor mount that goes over here underneath the reservoir for your coolant. Disconnect this coolant hose here because it's not flexible, so if we try to move this, we're gonna break it. So disconnect this, squeeze these clips and wiggle it out. There's a little slot here you can put a flathead in. As soon as you put a flathead in, then you can wiggle this and it'll come out like so. But you have one here and you have one back here, so most likely you're gonna have to undo the back one first and then do the front one. Once you get that out, hopefully the dealer didn't fuck with yours. They had to mess with mine to do that TSB for the motor mounts back when I first got this car. Just have a second person plug this stupid little hose, because as soon as you move that out of the way, it's going to put positive pressure and push the fluid out of this. So just have someone hold it. And now I'm going to take my cherry picker and just put a little pressure on this to hold the engine. Take a 15mm socket and remove the 2 bolts from each side. Once you have pressure, you can either lift it from this jack point, or you could put like a block of wood with the jack underneath the car. That'll work too. Now you can take an 18mm and remove the 3 nuts from the head. Give it a few wiggles and you should be able to get it out. And don't worry if the stud comes out. So if you get it stuck and the whole stud comes out, you just take an 18 to hold the nut. Even though this is a reverse Torx, you can use an 8mm socket on it. And then you just hold it and do it like that. And just take it off that way. I'm going to use some Loctite to try to hopefully make sure this doesn't happen again. So I'm going to put this on and then put it back in. Before we put in the new motor mount, just wipe it all down, I guess, since there's going to be thousands of miles of crud on here probably. Just wipe it all nice and clean. Then you're going to take the motor mount, slide it over the studs best you can. And now we're going to hand start the bottom bolts. So lining this up has been a little fun. Pretty much you're going to need a big pry bar or just somebody big to sort of manhandle the engine a little bit. And then you can use a panel popper is what I used, because this bottom plate was off a little, so the one hole didn't want to line up, so I put a panel popper down in there to push this way to line it up. So you're just gonna have to play with it a little bit. So the first thing I want to do, now that I have everything lined up, I don't want to torque these down only having a couple threads. That's bad. So I'm going to tighten the bottom 2 bolts first. Now that I have the bottom 2 tight, what I can do is give a little bit of pressure from the lift and then tap with a small rubber mallet. Give it a nice tap here and that'll wiggle it on, and then just slowly get it to where it's seated. So I just found out, because I have not messed with any of these since the day I bought it, and this back one here seems to be cross-threaded. So yeah, fuck the dealers, stupid part changers, non-mechanic asses. Anyways, I'm gonna have to helicoil that sometime in the future, or I just wait till this motor dies and put a 2.3 in. Either way, I'm gonna have to let let the Loctite seat and dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to torque these two down, and I'm going to torque these two down over here and make sure they're tight. Alright, in my situation, I'm kind of screwed right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten. I don't want to spin the stud any more than I have to right now until I can get this fixed with a helicoil or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the center, and I'm just going to have to go slow on this and just sort of put it on little by little with this ratcheting wrench. Now that everything's tight on the bottom and on the top, you can just rotate your coolant reservoir back in and line up the little tabs. Push the back one in first, then the front one, and then grab this little line, wiggle it on. Now, since we had shit leak out, I'm gonna have to open this and add some more fluid. This is what it looks like all completed. Everything's back in its place. It looks real nice. The fitment was real good, so I don't have any issues. So I just got back from the test drive, and it pretty much, you know, acted like I thought it was going to. A little bit more vibration, mainly like from a dead stop. You can feel a vibration from, say, I don't know, 12 to 1700, but after that there's nothing. Cruising, there's nothing. I didn't tell anything. But first and second gear hard pulls, at least with the crappy F1s where I'm losing traction. I noticed that since it's stiff now, the motor's not flexing even when the tire is let loose. So now I'm just wheel hopping like crazy, at least with just this one, right? So next video, we're gonna do the driver side transmission mount. It's also TTR, so we'll do this because maybe it's just acting funny because the driver side is flexing and the passenger side stiff. Don't really know quite yet. Thanks everybody for checking out my video, and yeah, if you don't want a floppy motor mount like how the stock one is, I mean, it flexes a lot just with one hand I'm using. It's not even my strong hand. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you can do this by yourself now, and I will see you on the next episode. Wrench on.